back here on the Cover 3 podcast, turning our win totals attention to the Clemson Tigers. 9.5 is the win total at FanDuel Sportsbook now. As we're discussing this here on a Monday, over is minus 225, under is plus 180. So let's do the schedule, but let's also maybe look at some of the other ways that we could attack this if you're feeling frisky or extra confident or not. So, Bud, as you're taking a look, you obviously open with the Death Valley game. You know what I was thinking, man? We are not that far away from, oh, look, they get on a bus. Oh, look, they're riding the bus to the hill. You know, like we're going to be getting the full primetime treatment with Death Valley at night. Obviously, you've got SMU rematch of the ACC championship game, annual game against Florida State, annual game against Georgia Tech and South Carolina. Also, a little return visit to Louisville, a team that came into your house and had the fans heading for the exits at the fourth quarter break. So that, I mean, it is a schedule with difficulty. How do you see Clemson navigating it?
I'm going to play the under here.
Oh, wow. Is it because of the price?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like you have to factor in price. If this was going to be, even juice, we'd be betting 10s, and like 10 is a pretty significant push number for the Tigers, so that every book's going to set it on the hook pretty much. And FanDuel's chosen to go with that 9.5. I'll take that plus 188 to the under. That sounds good to me. For a couple reasons. One, if Clemson is not much better than they were last year, remember this team lost 4 games, right? Now I know one was in the playoff, but they still lost 3 in the regular season. And the SMU game, which was a good but not great SMU team, that game was like not a walkover in the ACC championship game. But again, regular season wise, they still lost 3 times. There are some losable games on here, right? LSU's quite losable. Like at Georgia Tech is potentially losable. I don't think they'll lose it, but like that's a game you could lose. At North Carolina, at Boston College, back-to-back conference road games. Again, we're trying to find losses here. So you go and then you host SMU. Duke, probably not, but you're off a bye. Florida State, probably not. Assuming you have Clemson power rated very highly. At Louisville whipped their ass last year.
Mm-hmm.
That score was not as like that score was closer than the game was actually played. Like they walked up and down on Clemson. And then at South Carolina. So I'm like, man, there's a lot of assumptions being made in the marketplace that this team is making a big leap. And I think they will make improvements, but I don't know that they have like a huge leap from where they were last year. And you need a lot to go right to win 10, 11, 12 ball games. If Cade gets hurt, I am not a Vizina guy. I think if you lose Cade, I think he is one of the bigger drop-offs from starter to backup in the country. And like this is one of like the alt win totals that I was looking to play to the under for sure. If it like, again, because like that's how you go under is weird stuff happens like that. So obviously, hoping Cade stays healthy. But I'm going to go under here at this price.
I'm not betting it. I would rather, honestly, I have a lean over. But what I would rather do is if I'm very firmly on the idea that Clemson's going over here, I would rather just bet their money line against LSU. Because I do feel like if they win that game, they're going to get to 10 wins. You look at the squad, Cade Klubnik, I'm a known hater, but he is, he improved last season. He looked really good in the Texas game. So maybe that's the guy we're going to see going forward. They get pretty much their entire offensive line back. They get their receiver core back for the most part. Like the defense is, again, one of the more talented units in the country on that side of the ball. So that I do have some faith in there. I have some questions about them, like in the back end. I think they could be problems against teams with really good quarterbacks, but outside of LSU, when you look at this schedule, how many teams with great passing quarterbacks do you see on the schedule? Like, I think that matchup-wise, they're going to be fine most weeks, honestly. So I have a slight lean over, but again, I would rather just bet them to beat LSU than bet the season-long over.
It's a horrible bet from the value perspective.
I've found bets for you, Danny. Don't worry. I've got good bets for you.
Because I think to have them winning the ACC at plus 110 is a better bet.
Yeah. Agree.
I'm on the over. I do think their schedule is trickier. Like as much as the ACC gets trashed and they're the heavy favorite to win the conference, I do think like that Georgia Tech game would scare me if I'm a Clemson fan. That's going to be Georgia Tech Super Bowl. I like Haynes King a lot. There's a lot of kind of unknowns. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. SMU and Duke, I don't think you're a cakewalk. Like, who knows you're going to get against Florida State. I'm on the over, but I'm not. I mean, at minus 200, what is it, 220, 240, whatever it is. That's an awful bet.
That's what I found. So I was looking at 11 plus wins. So obviously going over 9.5, that's what you're going to be laying, the minus like 225. 11 plus was plus 115. But to your point, DK, Clemson to win the ACC plus 110. So I would rather have that. Then it throws LSU and South Carolina out the window.
Right.
Or maybe there's a conference win total that you want to jump on either. Those usually are going to be correlated enough that I don't know if you're going to gain a lot more one way or the other. At Louisville on a Friday night, whoo, that is going to be an interesting one. But you mentioned them getting bowled over. I think Tom Allen is a difference because the same guys who are on all these NFL mock drafts, your Peter Woods, your TJ Parkers, your Avion Terrell, even the linebackers who I think are really good, maybe like I think Sammy Brown's not even draft eligible this year, but I think Clemson has dudes at all three levels of the defense. They just didn't play well last year. And Tom Allen said as much. He showed up at spring practice, was like, we got to get back to fundamentals. Like we got to get back to tackling because tackling was a problem against those teams. The Citadel ran for 300 yards, Dabo will tell you. They couldn't get off the field against South Carolina. Isaac Brown and Louisville ran all over them. So I am going to give a plus value add to Tom Allen coming in, fixing that defense so that they play a little bit closer to their talent. So I'll go over for the purposes here, but I think it's ACC championship at a plus 110 is probably the way that I'm going to attack that as opposed to laying 225.
I mean, I would rather lay 175, I think, for them to make the playoff than to lay this to have to go 10-2.
Right.
There's a scenario in which they go 9-3, they lose to LSU, they're still in the championship game due to tiebreakers. They win that, so you lose this bet, but you make the playoff.
Yeah, like they could lose to South Carolina and LSU, finish 9-3, and still get to the playoff pretty easily. Like that's what they did last year, pretty much.
Arguing the flip side of this, there's also a scenario in which they lose the conference championship game, but the ACC has a couple really top-heavy teams, and they make it in anyway as an at-large.
Hey, nah, man. You've been in the bank. Clemson don't lose in Charlotte.
That's fair.
Okay?
That
I actually think Dabo's undefeated. And to the point where even last year, what was it, a 63-yard field goal or something bananas? I mean, if the Tigers get to Charlotte, that orange pops against those blue seats, and they take that place over. They know all the places to go. They know all the places to stay. They just come in for one night, and they fill it up. If they get there, they're winning. So yeah, we're generally on the over. Again, one of the teams we'll be talking about all season, the Clemson Tigers, the class of the ACC.